So today we're going to talk about Escape from New York, one of my favorite movies. I've always been a huge fan, and I take a little bit of pride in knowing that at least part of it was shot here in my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Back in the late 70s, St. Louis was torn by a big fire, which left a lot of buildings downtown kind of more decrepit than usual. John Carpenter took advantage of that in Escape from New York. A lot of the places have since been renovated. So I know St. Louis has kind of a bad reputation, and it's always been kind of the in-joke that when John Carpenter needed a post-apocalyptic wasteland, he came to St. Louis because it was the closest he could get. Not all of Escape from New York was shot in St. Louis. Some of it was actually shot in New York, not much. Some was filmed in LA, and some was Texas, I believe. A little bit of everywhere. So I'm just going to be focusing on the locations from here in St. Louis. So here's my experience from the past couple of days going to those locations and kind of comparing them to how they were shown in the film. Really, it's all just part of my life's work to find every spot Kurt Russell has ever stood. So we came to document the Escape from New York locations, and it's pouring down rain. I know you're thinking that if I live in St. Louis, why don't I come back when it's not raining? Fuck you. Behind me is one of the first places in the movie that you see St. Louis kind of stand in for New York. So this is where Lee Van Cleef first rides in on the helicopter with his entire assault team. They land in this parking lot right behind me. All of this can be seen in the movie. Roughly, the cameraman is standing right about where you are, which I think is fucking cool. Looking west down St. Charles Street is the alley that they walk past. In the movie, there's some broken down cars flipped on their side and shit. But anyway, we're gonna go down here and show you where the president's pod was. At some point there used to be a building here, and that's where Lee Van Cleef and his men walk past. But then right there by that mural, on the corner of that building, is where the president's pod was. The cameraman was actually standing behind this fence here, but it is a daycare or something now, so the fence is closed off. And you can see in the background that door. That's the smoking gun right there. That door right back there is where Romero emerged from to give them the president's finger. To give the president the finger? No, to give them the president's finger. All of this stuff is within a block area. I think the next place we're going to head is by the Schlafly Tap Room down here, and that's where Air Force One had crashed, and there's some cool stuff down there. Pretty sure this is a bullet on the ground. Pretty neat. Proof we live in a great town. Bullet next to a daycare. That's like a new metal band. Bullet by a daycare. So, quick note, if you're down here walking around, this White Knight Diner behind me was used in a 1990 James Spader film. It's like a romantic drama called White Palace, which is really close to White Castle. It seems really weird to me. I never watched the movie, but I know it was filmed over there, so like if romantic dramas are your thing, check that place out. I've never even eaten there either, so like it could be junk, but it's a diner, so it's worth a shot, right? So I'm at the corner of 21st and Locust Street. We're right by the Schlafly Tap Room. Back here behind me is where Air Force One crashed in the movie. The building directly behind me is very recognizable as being in the background. It's one of the easiest locations to spot. It hasn't changed a whole lot. Snake comes out of the side of the building. He walks all the way down. And actually right at this corner there's a lot of other little things. If you go down this way a little bit, there's the scene later where they're driving down the street and all the people start beating on the car and they're just plowing through them, and then they get to the area where there's just a big wall of old defunct cars blocking off the street, and Snake Plissken puts it in reverse and goes through the wall of cars. That happened right down here. So the wall of cars would have been right after, to the right of the third door. I guess that's a door or whatever. When they crash out on the other side, you can see all this architecture here in the film. It's all in this same area right here, right by the tap room on Locust Street. So it's pretty cool that not only right behind me there was some airplane wreckage on the street at one point, but you know, Kurt Russell just walking down these streets like he owns the town. You know, cool atmosphere. Right here is where it happened. Pretty cool. So we're standing by the Fox Theater here in St. Louis on South Grand. This is where Snake Plissken first meets Cabby. They used the exteriors for this, but the interiors were filmed in Los Angeles. Of course, the Fox has since been renovated, and it's like a cultural hub down here. Honestly, I never go there, but probably more upscale people than me do. I'm just not one of them. Alright, so I'm standing in front of the Masonic Temple on Lindell Boulevard in St. Louis. This is Brain's house, Harry Dean Stanton. This is where he lived in the movie. The interiors were not filmed here. They were filmed somewhere else. They just pretty much used the exteriors for the film. I would go up and knock on the door, but there's posted no trespassing signs. I'll probably get arrested. Snake Plissken's here. Kurt Russell, Ernest Borgnine right here. What was that? 39 years ago? Born too late. Alright, so I'm at Union Station. This was where the Duke of New York hung out back in the day. It's actually now like a fucking mall, if you can't tell by Katy Perry bumping behind me. Fucking hell. Anyway, like they still have these train cars, and it was really the parking lot was most of it. The outdoor scene. Yeah, it's changed considerably since then. So the interiors of like the fight between Snake and the big bald dude where he kills him with the bat with spikes on it, that was filmed inside Union Station here in the Grand Ballroom. I don't think we are going to get in there because anytime they call something a Grand Ballroom, they normally don't let people like me in. So I guess let's get the fuck out of here and go to a different location that's different than this. So I'm standing in front of the old Chain of Rocks Bridge. In Escape from New York, this was the 69th Street Bridge. In reality, there is no 69th Street Bridge. I think John Carpenter just wanted a 69 in there. But it's closed, if you can't tell, unfortunately. The wall was on the Missouri side of the river. We're on the Illinois side. The Missouri side's closed because that road is closed for construction. We drove all the way around to the Illinois side, and apparently the bridge is closed too. This bridge was out of commission when John Carpenter filmed the movie. He actually bought it for $1 and then did what he wanted to it and then sold it back to the city. At some point they opened it back up as a trail. It's a walking trail. You can walk across the river. It's really fucking cool. I would love to show you guys, but unfortunately it's just not going to be able to happen today. Man, I want to walk out there, but I can't. I don't see any cameras. What are they going to do? Is that... What's the charge on...
Trespassing?
Oh yeah.
See, it curves so you can't get over.
I can. I might have to go take a dump in the woods. Turn the camera off. It's the fucking president's pod. Under the bridge downtown, where I escaped New York. Yeah, I mean, none of this was in the movie, but it's still really cool. You ready? This is some Evil Dead shit right here. So we didn't get on the bridge and we didn't get to see the Grand Ballroom, and then there was a couple of other locations on the street from the movie that we weren't positive where they were at, so I chose not to include them. But overall, that's all the important stuff that was shot in St. Louis.